April 9, 1945. 03:47 hours, northwestern Germany, a forest clearing 11 kilometers southeast of Osnabrück. 42 men lie in the undergrowth. They do not move. Their weapons are loaded. Safety catches are released. The night is cold, approximately 3 degrees Celsius. There is no moon. Cloud cover obscures the stars. Visibility extends to perhaps 30 meters in the darkness. Ahead, across 200 meters of open ground, a farmhouse stands in silhouette. No lights are visible. No movement can be detected. A single road runs past the building, continuing east toward the town. The road is unpaved. Tire tracks are visible in the mud, illuminated faintly by residual light from the western horizon. The men have been in position since 02:30 hours. They have not spoken. Hand signals were used during the approach. Equipment was secured to prevent noise. Breathing is controlled. The strike is scheduled for 04:00 hours. 13 minutes remain. The platoon commander checks his watch. He does not look up. His hand rests on the stock of his Sten gun. The safety is off. The magazine is seated. The bolt is forward. No one coughs. No one shifts position. The farmhouse remains dark. The unit is a commando platoon attached to the 6th Airborne Division. They have been operating behind German lines since March 24. Their mission profile includes reconnaissance, sabotage, and targeted raids against high-value objectives. The men are experienced. Most have completed at least 2 operational deployments. They are trained in night movement, close-quarters combat, and rapid withdrawal under fire. The target is a German signals detachment believed to be coordinating communications for retreating Wehrmacht units in the sector. Intelligence reports place the detachment inside the farmhouse. The reports are based on radio intercepts and aerial reconnaissance conducted 48 hours earlier. Estimated strength is 15 to 20 personnel, likely signals specialists with minimal combat capability. Standard doctrine classifies such targets as soft, lightly armed, tactically valuable, vulnerable to surprise. The strike plan is straightforward. At 04:00 hours, 2 sections will advance across the open ground under cover of darkness. Bangalore torpedoes will breach the farmhouse door. The first section enters and neutralizes resistance. The second section secures the perimeter and covers withdrawal. Expected duration is 6 minutes. Withdrawal route is northwest through the forest to a rendezvous point 3 kilometers distant where transport is waiting. The ground between the tree line and the farmhouse is flat pasture. No cover is available. The approach must be rapid and silent until the final assault. Weather favors the attackers. Low cloud, no ambient light, minimal wind. German forces in the area are assessed as disorganized and withdrawing east. No reinforcements are expected within the operational window. All equipment has been checked. Bangalore charges are armed. Grenades are distributed. Medical supplies are carried by designated personnel. The platoon commander has briefed the sections twice. There are no questions. The plan is clear. At 03:55, the platoon commander raises his hand, the signal to prepare. Commando training emphasizes speed, surprise, and controlled aggression. Night raids follow a rehearsed sequence. Approach silently. Breach decisively. Overwhelm the target before organized resistance can form. Extract immediately. The doctrine is proven. It has been executed successfully in France, Holland, and Western Germany throughout the winter. The Sten gun is the primary weapon for close quarters. Effective range is 50 meters. Rate of fire is 500 rounds per minute. Each man carries 4 magazines. Grenades are Mills No. 36, standard fragmentation type. They are used to clear rooms or suppress defenders during withdrawal. Bangalore torpedoes consist of steel tubes packed with amytal explosive. They are designed to clear barbed wire but are effective against wooden doors and light structures. The farmhouse presents a typical target profile. Single-story, timber frame, stone foundation. 2 visible windows on the southern face. 1 door, centered. No external fortifications are observed. No sentries are visible. If the signals detachment is present, they are inside. German signals personnel typically operate in shifts. At 04:00 hours, half the detachment is likely asleep. The others will be monitoring radios or encoding traffic. Weapons, if present, will be rifles or pistols stored near workstations. The assault sections know their roles. Section 1, breach and clear. Section 2, external security and covering fire if needed. Timing is critical. Hesitation allows the defenders to react. The first 30 seconds determine the outcome. If surprise is maintained, resistance collapses. If the alarm is raised, casualties increase and withdrawal becomes difficult. The men have rehearsed this sequence in training and in combat. Each knows the layout from reconnaissance sketches. Entry points, likely positions of personnel, routes through the structure. Exit routes, fallback positions. The choreography is internalized. At 03:58, the platoon commander lowers his hand. The sections rise to a crouch. Weapons are brought to the ready position. Eyes adjust to the darkness. The farmhouse is a black shape against a slightly lighter sky. At 03:59, the first section begins to move forward. 03:59, 40 hours. The platoon commander stops. He raises his fist, the signal to halt. The sections freeze. Men drop to one knee. Weapons remain pointed forward. No one speaks. The farmhouse is 170 meters ahead. The first section is 15 meters beyond the tree line. The second section is still within the forest edge. The platoon commander remains motionless. He is looking at the farmhouse. His fist is still raised. The halt signal is clear. It is not the signal for danger. It is not the signal for enemy contact. It is simply halt. Seconds pass. No shots are fired. No lights appear. No movement is detected from the target. The night is silent except for the faint rustle of wind through the trees behind the platoon. At 04:00:05, the platoon commander lowers his fist. He does not give the signal to advance. He signals withdraw. The sections do not move immediately. The signal is repeated, withdraw. The first section backs toward the tree line. The second section remains in position, covering the withdrawal. By 04:01, all personnel are back within the forest. The platoon commander gestures to the section leaders. They gather close. He speaks in a whisper, inaudible beyond 3 meters. The conversation lasts less than 20 seconds. The section leaders return to their men. Within minutes, the platoon is moving northwest through the forest. The farmhouse is left undisturbed. The strike does not occur. The withdrawal is conducted in silence. No explanation is given. The men follow their training. Questions are not asked during operational movement. The platoon moves in file through the forest, maintaining light discipline and noise discipline. The pace is steady but not hurried. No pursuit is detected. No alarm sounds from the farmhouse. At 04:35, the platoon reaches the rendezvous point. 3 Bedford trucks are waiting, engines idling. The men board quickly. The section leaders conduct head counts. All personnel are accounted for. No casualties. No contact with the enemy. The convoy departs at 04:42. During the return journey, the men remain silent. Some check their weapons. Others lean against the truck sides and close their eyes. The platoon commander sits in the lead vehicle, facing forward. He does not speak to the driver. He does not consult his map. His expression is neutral. At 06:10, the convoy arrives at the division's forward assembly area. The platoon dismounts. Equipment is returned to stores. Weapons are cleaned and inspected. Ammunition is counted and logged. The Bangalore charges are returned unused. The grenades are returned unused. The process is routine. At 07:00, the platoon commander reports to the operations officer. The meeting takes place inside a requisitioned schoolhouse. The door is closed. No one else is present. The meeting lasts 11 minutes. When the platoon commander emerges, he proceeds directly to his billet. He does not brief the section leaders. He does not address the platoon. At 08:30, the section leaders are summoned individually. Each meets briefly with the operations officer. Each returns without comment. By 09:00, the platoon is stood down for rest. No further orders are issued. The strike is not rescheduled. The men sleep, eat, and wait. Rumors circulate quietly but without detail. The operation is not discussed openly. By evening, new orders arrive for a different mission. The platoon begins preparation immediately. The canceled strike is not mentioned again. The operations log records the mission as aborted. No further detail is provided. The entry is dated April 9, 1945, and lists the time of return as 06:10 hours. The reason field contains a single word, reassessment. Later examination of the incident reveals limited information. The platoon commander's after-action statement, filed on April 10, notes that final visual reconnaissance prior to assault indicated uncertainty regarding target occupancy. He states that conditions at the point of execution did not match intelligence expectations. He does not specify what those conditions were. The operations officer's notes, recovered from divisional archives, reference the same incident briefly. They record that the platoon commander reported observing no activity, no light discipline violations, and no indicators of communication equipment in operation. The farmhouse appeared abandoned or unoccupied. Doctrine permits operational commanders to abort missions if conditions on the ground invalidate the intelligence basis for the strike. No radio intercepts were recorded from the target location on the night of April 8-9. Aerial reconnaissance had not been updated since April 7. The intelligence assessment was 48 hours old at the time of the strike. German units were retreating rapidly throughout the sector. Signals detachments were mobile and frequently relocated to avoid detection. The platoon commander's decision rested on observable evidence at the moment of execution. The farmhouse showed no signs of occupancy. No sentries, no lights, no vehicle movement, no radio antenna visible in the darkness. The target did not match the expected profile of an active signals detachment. Doctrine allows for mission abort when the risk-to-value calculation shifts. A strike on an empty building carries operational risk, exposure, noise, potential compromise of the unit's position, with no tactical gain. The decision to withdraw was consistent with standing orders that prioritize mission success over mission execution. No formal investigation was conducted. No disciplinary action was taken. The platoon commander continued to lead operations through the end of April. The incident was recorded as a routine abort due to changed conditions. The farmhouse was overrun by advancing Allied forces on April 12. Post-capture inspection found no evidence of recent German occupation. The building was empty. By midday on April 9, the platoon is fully reconstituted. Equipment is reissued. Weapons are test-fired at a field range. Ammunition loads are refreshed. The men conduct routine maintenance and rest in rotation. The operational tempo resumes without interruption. At 14:00 hours, new tasking arrives. The platoon is assigned to a reconnaissance patrol east of the division's current line. The mission is unrelated to the canceled strike. Briefing occurs at 15:30. Departure is scheduled for 18:00. The patrol is executed without incident and returns at 23:45. The section leaders do not discuss the canceled strike with their men. The platoon commander does not reference it in subsequent briefings. Operational security and discipline prevent casual conversation about aborted missions. The details remain confined to the command chain. Other units within the division continue normal operations. Raids, patrols, and reconnaissance missions are conducted nightly. The war continues. German resistance is weakening but not absent. Towns are taken. Roads are cleared. Prisoners are processed. The division advances eastward in coordination with neighboring formations. At company level, the canceled mission is noted in passing. The company commander reviews the after-action report and files it without comment. No lessons learned session is convened. The event is assessed as a correctly executed abort, requiring no corrective action or procedural change. By April 15, the platoon has completed 4 additional missions. 2 reconnaissance patrols, 1 ambush, and 1 demolition task. All are successful. Casualties are light. 1 man wounded by shrapnel, evacuated and expected to recover. The canceled strike does not affect operational effectiveness or morale. The men do not ask why the strike was aborted. They understand that mission parameters change. Intelligence is imperfect. Commanders make decisions based on conditions at the point of execution. Trust in leadership is maintained through consistent, rational decision-making. The abort fits within that framework. By the end of April, the division is positioned near the Elbe River. German forces are collapsing. The pace of operations accelerates. The canceled strike fades into the accumulation of minor operational events that fill the daily logs. No award or commendation is associated with the decision to abort. No public recognition occurs. The platoon commander's personnel file contains no reference to the incident. His fitness reports for the period note competence and sound judgment, but cite no specific examples. The divisional history, compiled in 1946, makes no mention of the canceled strike. Hundreds of operations are summarized in the official record. Only completed actions are detailed. Aborted missions, unless they result in casualties or significant tactical consequence, are omitted. The farmhouse near Osnabrück does not appear in the narrative. The men who were present carry the memory privately. In post-war interviews conducted decades later, 2 veterans mention the incident briefly. One describes it as the raid that didn't happen. He recalls the halt signal and the quiet withdrawal, but does not know why the decision was made. The other veteran remembers the tension of the approach and the relief of the stand-down. Neither expresses confusion or resentment. Both frame it as a prudent call by a trusted officer. The platoon commander does not discuss the event in his later life. He returns to civilian employment in 1946. He does not write a memoir. He attends veterans' reunions but speaks little of specific operations. When asked about his wartime service, he describes it in general terms: raids, reconnaissance, the final advance into Germany. He does not single out individual moments. Archival research into the incident yields minimal documentation. The operations log entry is terse. The after-action statement is brief. No photographs exist. No maps with the target marked survive in accessible collections. The incident exists as a marginal note in a much larger operational record. The absence of documentation does not indicate failure or concealment. It reflects the routine nature of aborted operations. Missions are planned. Conditions change. Decisions are made. Units return. The war continues. Not every decision generates a paper trail. Not every moment of restraint is recorded. The platoon commander returns to England in June 1945. He is demobilized in October. He resumes work as a civil engineer. He marries in 1947. He raises 3 children. He does not speak of the war at home. His children learn of his service only through indirect references. He attends Remembrance Day ceremonies but stands quietly in the crowd. In 1963, he is contacted by a military historian compiling a unit history. He agrees to an interview. The conversation lasts 90 minutes and covers the period from March to May 1945. When asked about the canceled strike, he pauses. He confirms the date and location. He states that the target did not present as expected. He does not elaborate. The historian does not press. The section leaders follow varied paths. One remains in the army and retires as a major in 1960. One becomes a school teacher. One emigrates to Canada. They exchange letters for several years after the war, but eventually lose contact. None writes extensively about the canceled mission. It is one event among many, neither more nor less significant than dozens of others. The men of the platoon disperse into civilian life. Some maintain contact through regimental associations. Some attend occasional reunions. Some never speak of their service. The war becomes a closed chapter, referenced seldom and in generalities. The canceled strike, if remembered, is not shared widely. In the 1980s, a researcher examining divisional records notices the April 9 log entry. He cross-references it with patrol reports and intelligence summaries. He finds no follow-up action. The target was not revisited. The signals detachment, if it ever existed at that location, was never engaged. The researcher includes a footnote in his study but draws no conclusions. The incident remains a minor curiosity. The farmhouse was demolished in 1952 during agricultural modernization. The land is now part of a larger farm. No marker exists. The site is indistinguishable from the surrounding fields. April 9, 1945. A strike prepared, positioned, and seconds from execution. 42 men ready. A target identified, orders clear, conditions favorable, then nothing, a raised fist, a whispered command, a quiet withdrawal through the forest. The farmhouse left dark and silent. No shots, no breach, no assault, no prisoners, no casualties. The operations log records it in 9 words. The after-action report offers no detail. The divisional history omits it entirely. The men who were there remember the halt, the tension, the walk back through the trees. They do not know what the platoon commander saw or did not see that made him stop. The war ended 4 weeks later. The division moved east, crossed the Elbe, and halted. The men were demobilized and went home. The platoon commander returned to engineering work. The section leaders resumed civilian lives. The canceled strike became one event in a sequence of events, none of which were discussed much after 1945. The farmhouse stood empty on April 9. It was empty on April 12 when Allied forces arrived. It was demolished 7 years later. The field is quiet now. No monument, no record, only a brief notation in an archive no one reads. A decision was made in the darkness. A strike reached its final stage, then it disappeared.